The U.S. Army is speeding up a major aviation upgrade, and it's happening a lot sooner than many people expected. According to comments confirmed to the War Zone, the Army now says it plans to begin fielding its new MV-75 assault tiltrotor in 2027. That's a big deal, because not long ago, this aircraft was expected to arrive in operational units in the mid-2030s. Now the timeline is moving left by years, and the reason goes way beyond the calendar. The MV-75 is being developed under the Army's Future Long-Range Assault Aircraft Program, or FLRAA. This is one of the Army's biggest modernization efforts, designed to change how soldiers move around contested battlefields. And from the Army's perspective, this isn't a nice-to-have upgrade. It's becoming a core requirement for future high-end conflicts. A major focus here is the Indo-Pacific. Distances are vast. Forces may need to operate in dispersed formations, and sophisticated air defenses could make traditional helicopter operations much riskier. That's where FLRAA and the MV-75 come in. So how did we go from the mid-2030s to 2027? Bell, a Textron subsidiary, won the FLRAA competition in 2022 with a design based on its V-280 Valor demonstrator tiltrotor. When Bell won, the expectation was that the first operational aircraft would begin entering service in the mid-2030s. Now the timeline is moving left by years, and the reason goes way beyond the calendar.
But the pace has accelerated quickly. By the beginning of last year, the Army's target had moved up to 2030. Later, the service said it wanted to push that earlier to 2028. Now the Army is indicating it's aiming for 2027, roughly 5 years earlier than the original mid-2030s expectation, and 3 years earlier than the 2030 goal discussed more recently. In remarks to the War Zone, Army spokesperson Colonel Dave Butler emphasized the push to move fast. He said the acquisition strategy calls for testing this year and fielding next year, with the goal of delivering the best capability to soldiers as fast as possible. Now there's an important caveat here. The first MV-75 airframe is currently under construction and has not yet flown. However, Bell's V-280 Valor demonstrator, which the MV-75 is based on, has been extensively flight tested since 2017. That gives the Army a substantial base of flight data and experience to build on, and it helps explain why officials believe they can move at this speed. So what is the advantage of a tiltrotor? Tiltrotors sit in between helicopters and fixed-wing aircraft. Their rotors can tilt forward for airplane-like flight, giving them higher cruising speeds and longer range than conventional helicopters, while still keeping the ability to take off and land vertically. For the Army, that combination is critical. Move troops and supplies faster, reach farther distances, and potentially operate more effectively from austere locations or under threat. The push to accelerate MV-75 fielding also reflects a bigger shift in how the Army talks about future war. Counterinsurgency operations often emphasized persistent presence and shorter-range missions, but a high-end fight against a peer competitor could require rapid repositioning, more range, and better survivability in contested airspace.
And again, geography is a driving factor, especially in the Pacific. Islands can be separated by hundreds of miles, basing options can be limited, and forces may need to move without relying on a small number of large, predictable hubs. An aircraft that can fly farther and faster than a traditional helicopter could help commanders disperse forces, complicate enemy targeting, and respond more quickly as situations change. Over time, the Army plans for the MV-75 to replace a significant portion of its H-60 Black Hawk fleet. That includes not only standard utility helicopters, but also some MH-60M Special Operations helicopters assigned to the elite 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. And that's a major shift because the Black Hawk family is deeply embedded in Army aviation, from logistics and maintenance to training pipelines to doctrine. Replacing a platform this widespread isn't as simple as delivering a new aircraft. It means building a whole support ecosystem, training programs, spare parts, maintenance procedures, and integration into units that already have heavy demands. So while the accelerated timeline is a powerful signal, it also raises big questions. How quickly testing can validate performance, how smoothly production can ramp up, and how effectively the Army can stand up the infrastructure needed to make the MV-75 operationally credible from day one. Still, the message is clear. The Army is no longer treating next-generation vertical lift as a distant future capability. By aiming to field the MV-75 in 2027, it's making FLRAA a near-term priority, closely tied to how it expects to fight, move, and survive in some of the world's most challenging theaters.